Hi, everybody. It's me, Sarah, and this is Ruby, and we are going to be doing a nice short evening yoga stretch. So, this little stretch is something that I like to do before bed just to get all of those tight places that might be tired from your day, from being on your feet all day, and start to let your nervous system and your brain wind down. So we are going to start in child's pose just to get grounded on our yoga mat. If child's pose does not work for you, you can start in a nice, comfortable seat. So bringing the knees about hip width distance, big toes to touch. Just go ahead and sink your hips back and melt your heart on down. If the forehead doesn't make it to the mat, you can stack your fists. Or maybe bring a pillow or a block under the forehead just to let yourself feel that pressure of the forehead into the mat. Begin to feel your breathing slow down. Taking this time on your mat to really allow yourself to take care of yourself. Take one more deep breath here in your downward dog or in your child's pose. And then we're going to make our way into downward dog, taking your time to get there. Moving nice and slow, tucking the toes, lifting the hips high and back. Feeling this nice inversion where the hips are higher than the heart. Can be very relaxing and nourishing after a long day. You can move in your downward dog if that feels right for you. Or maybe you find stillness, pressing the hips up and back away from your hands. Maybe you imagine that someone is pushing your hips away from your hands, lengthening out your spine. Let's take a cleansing breath here, in through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. Good. We're going to look between the hands and just step the left foot forward. So we're coming into a runner's lunge. You can stay high on the back knee if you have a little more energy, if this is a better stretch for you. Or you can drop the back knee and just feel your hips sink down. This is a great place to have blocks under the hands. I would encourage you to do that if you're feeling a little bit tight. We just want to stack the knee over the ankle. And lengthen the right psoas here. So if you drop your head in this pose, you might feel how that affects the pull on your psoas, which is this crazy muscle that goes all the way from your spine through the front of your stomach into your hip flexor. So sometimes when you drop your head, it gets the psoas in a different way. If your back knee was lowered, we're going to tuck the toes and lift the back knee and just walk the hands over to the right so we come into our wide-legged fold. Again, you might bring a block with you to help bring the floor up. And we're going to melt down here, keeping a nice micro bend in the knees. Relaxing the back of the head. Once you know where you are, just go ahead and release the back of the head. Feel the outside edges of the feet ground down, lengthening through the shin muscles. Again, letting this inversion help reset your nervous system after maybe a long day. From here, we're going to walk our hands to the right and come into our low lunge on this side. So just keep turning to the back of your yoga mat. If you're turned away from the camera, you can just listen to the sound of my voice. We're just doing the same lunge that we did on the first side. Whether you had your back leg lifted or lowered, and whether you felt the stretch more when your spine was long or when you dropped your head. Try to stay present with the sensations in your body and with your breathing, letting go of your day, the day that happened, and letting go of any future plans for tomorrow. Good. We're going to walk our hands back to that wide-legged fold, tucking the back toes and turning on the feet so the feet are parallel. We're going to take a little twist before we go on to the next thing. So bring your hands out in front of you under your shoulders. The right hand will come to the center of the chest, and we'll pull back on the left arm, either reaching it up to the sky, or if that feels too much, bringing it to the low back. Careful that we didn't twist too much through the hips. Keeping the hips level will help this twist come more into your upper back. You might even try to reach the left hand around to the inner right thigh if that bind is in your practice. If not, no worries. We're still getting a deep twist, really beneficial for the digestive system. Good, and let's release, coming into the other side, reaching the other arm up. And taking whatever variation in the arms works best for you. Wringing out the spine, wringing out those digestive organs. Beautiful. Let's plant both hands down. And this time we're going to turn our heels in and our toes out. Come into a little goddess squat. We're not going to come all the way up. I'm just going to bring the hands onto the knees and shift a little bit side to side. Root down through all 10 toes. And maybe you add a little shoulder stretch in here. Good. And then we're going to bring our hands down and shift our hips to one side. Let's shift to the right side and lengthen the left leg out. So we're in our little skandasana here. Feel free to keep the weight of the hands. This heel might not come down. This is going to look different on everyone. What you want is a deep stretch in the inner thigh. Squeeze that right glute so that the knee is opening. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring our hands back behind us so we can sit all the way down. Good. Bringing the right heel into the left leg. Facing that left leg that's still nice and long, we're going to reach the arms up and turn and fold over the left leg, lengthening out the spine to begin. Maybe you grab the calf or the ground, and then exhale, relax the head. Try not to force this pose with the upper body. See if you can just breathe into the left hamstring and the right side of the back and the glute. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here. When you're ready, walking the hands up nice and slow. And before we go to the other side, I'm just going to bring that right knee up and cross it over the left, or cross the foot over the left leg. If that's too much, you can just plant it on the inside. Either one, which is going to work. We're just going to come into a nice twist. So like to wrap the opposite arm around and just twisting back to the right. One more breath. Good. And then we'll make our way into our wide-legged fold again, sitting up for the other side. Bringing those feet nice and wide. And then turn the heels in, come back into your little goddess squat. Taking any movement that feels good here. And then we'll bring our hips over to the other side, stretching the right leg out, coming into our skandasana. Maybe you find some movement in the ankle, in the shoulders. Play around with the angle of that foot. You might play around with the weight in the hands, try lifting them off, try bringing them forward. Really just use this time to explore. And when you're ready, setting your hips down, and we'll come over into Janushirasana on the other side. So the left foot comes to the right leg, pull back on that right thigh bone. Inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale, think out and over. Inhale, find length in the spine. And then as you exhale, soften and surrender to the pose. Forward folds are very soothing. Think about breathing into the back of your body and feeling yourself heavy on the exhale. Take one more deep breath here. And then moving slowly and mindfully to come up. We're going to cross the left knee over this time. Or if that's too much for your knees and hips, you can bring the left knee flat to the inside. Cross the opposite arm around. Think up through your chest and then spiraling around. Try to keep your breath nice and slow. And coming back to center. Awesome work, everybody. Let's just finish in a comfortable seat, closing the eyes, noticing how your body feels. And we'll just take 3 slow breaths to seal our practice today. Inhaling in through the nose, filling up the belly. And exhaling out through the nose, letting go of any stress. Inhaling in. Exhaling out. Last one together. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you have a relaxing rest of your evening and that you come back to these YouTube videos whenever you need a little self-care. Thanks.